Okay, in this case, you're asked to divide 7 by 0. But before we do, let's go back to some familiar problems and see what we do when we divide. For example, let me take a nice simple example of 6 divided by 2. Well, we know the answer is 3. What I'm interested in is the check. How do you check a division problem? Well, you take the divisor, which is 2, and you multiply it by the result, and you wind up with 6, and that tells me that I am correct if this matches this. All right, let's take another example. Let's plug in a 0, but I'm going to put 0 in the numerator. Let's say 0 over 7. Okay, let's assume the answer is 0. I don't know what else it could be. It could be 7 or 0, but let's try 0. And here's the most important thing you need to check. How do you check? You take the divisor and you multiply it by the result, and you do get 0. That clearly tells me that I am correct. So when 0 is in the numerator, the answer is 0. All right, now let's try an example where 0 is in the denominator. All right, I'm just going to give you some options. What are our choices? Our choices are 0, that's the obvious answer, or 7, and I can't think of anything else, so I'm going to get rid of that. Let's just say 0 or 7. So we're going to check both. All right, so let me check. Let me just try 7 first. So we get 0 times 7. That produces 0. That's not going to work. So that's no good. Let's try 0. So we have 0, which is the divisor, times the result, which is 0. And we get 0. And that's not going to work. So guess what? Turns out to be when you divide by 0 in the real number system, there is no answer that will produce back to 7. So what we say is division by the number 0 is undefined, or we can say the fraction The fraction 7 over 0 does not exist if we're dealing with the set of real numbers. All right, in the future, I think that you'll be exposed to some other ideas, and I'll leave that for now. Okay, let's try another example. Okay, before you try these next 4 examples, I suggest you pause the video, try the examples, and then come back and watch the video. Okay, we have some more just for fun problems. Okay, number 1. Well, the x in the numerator is going to stay the same. And the bottom would be, by order of operations, 9 minus 9. And then we wind up with 9 minus 9, or 0. So again, division by 0 is undefined. So we'll say that the answer, or this fraction, does not exist in the real number system. Okay. Number 2. 0 in the numerator. The denominator is -4 minus, well, what's 2 squared? 2 squared is 4. Numerator is still 0. Denominator is -8. And the answer is 0 because 0 is in the numerator. All right, number 3. 5 minus 5 is 0. Now we have 1 minus, -1 squared is 1. And so we get 0 over 0. Even though 0 is in the numerator, if 0 is in the denominator, the answer does not exist. All right, number 4. Well, this looks like a fun problem. So, square root of 2 minus 2 is 0 over radical 2. Square root of 0 is 0 over radical 2. And then again, the answer would be 0 if 0 is in the numerator. Okay, one last problem, number 5. Okay, first thing I want to do is what's inside the parentheses here, and then what's inside the brackets here. So we have 2 times 7 minus 10 is negative 3 squared divided by negative 6 squared is 36, and 6 squared is 36. Now we have 2 times 9 divided by, oh, there's that 0 again, so 18 divided by 0, and the answer is division by 0 is undefined, does not exist.